What it do, homies? Chef Johnald has returned again with another, I'm guessing is about to be another banger, right? Dismiss the System, Sung Jin Woo song. And we love us some Solo Leveling. Those of us that have read it, we already knew that some peak was coming. And those of you that are anime only, even though that Biru fight was amazing, you still ain't seen nothing yet. Let's go ahead, shut up, turn it up. I wish I had my... Oh, dang, you going straight into it. Hold on. Wow. Dismiss System. Our video about Kuru, right? So we already know the visual is about to go crazy. Instrumental by Bloom Guns, right? We know who that is. He has produced, worked with a lot of some of our favorite nerdcore artists. One that comes immediately to mind is Fable's Cyberpunk, right? So, man, I love his mixing, his instrumental choices, guitars, really knows how to kind of nail that video game kind of cyberpunk, hard rock kind of sound. This is going to be a great match right here. All right, let's get into it. I wish I had my moments waiting, but I was never born to taste them. I already chose my fate, but I'm not ready to die. I wish I had my moments, but I was never born to taste them. That is a wow. That is a wild lyric right there. I like that. My fate, but I'm not ready to die. And now for the first time I feel alive. I'm free in my own demise. In face of dark, then divine intervention guides my direction, and it's telling me. The way that Johnald is deciding to sing right here, it kind of lends to kind of more of a depressed kind of style of singing, right? I say like lack of effort, not necessarily lack of effort on Johnald's part, just kind of like what kind of story are we trying to tell here with Sung Jin Woo, and knowing, what he was before going to where he is now, right? Kind of lonely, E-rank, depressed, not really doing much and everything. Pretty much, life sucks, right? So I like how John was expressing that in his vocals. He's kind of singing the way that you would sing when you're trying to figure out the melody to your song, right? Where you kind of just like, right? You're kind of in that thinking phase, if you will, which I guess could kind of fit Sung Jin Woo, right? Kind of thinking about how he can provide for his family, trying to, figure out what the next steps were to get what he needs for his mother's care and provide for his sister, right? That kind of makes sense. Now, it's interesting. I like to think of things like this, like the concept wise, even though the artist probably didn't even mean anything like that. It's just weird how those thoughts just kind of come into my head. You know what I mean? Guides my direction, and it's telling me. When the kings are overthrown, will I fail to rewrite the code, or will I embrace that road alone? 'Cause there's a part of me dying now. Don't you run away from the path that you chose. You can't resist the sin you put before. Don't you run away from the past and let go. Don't you run away from the path that you chose. If you're making a conscious decision to kind of go somewhere and it actually leads to something, now you're kind of too deep into it, right? Let's say dismiss the system. You got to keep kind of going along with it. You can't go against the grain. I mean, I guess you can and everything. Maybe you can make that choice for everything. Okay. And that's one thing I like about, the nerdcore community and the music that they kind of put out is that, there can be 1,000 Sung Jin Woo songs, but you're going to get something different out of each of them because not each one of us see the character a certain way, right? We might get a different story out of it. Choose different words that you want to use to kind of tell the person's story, especially when we get those inspired by songs, right? There's a fear in their hollow eyes. They don't know. Even now I'm afraid of what I've become. My senses going numb, and now the bodies drop to the beat of the drum. There's a glitch in my head that's telling me That's interesting. There's a glitch in my head that's saying it can all be yours, right? I feel like once you start really, especially got like this little gnat flying around somewhere, I don't get rid of it. Dang. It's the summer, man. Glitch in my head, bro. That's ambition. That's what that is. Especially once you start really dial in on your abilities, right? Leveling up per se. You out here doing your 10K laps and everything. What does it look like in music production, right? You maybe you practicing some of your mixing techniques 10,000 times, right? Doing some stuff that's daily before you start seeing that power start to swell in. And you're like, wait a minute, I actually might be cooking. I actually might be the one, right? Is it time for me to aura form, right? And then that ambition starts coming up and you saying, let me just go ahead and take over right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get the line. Let me go get that flash in my eye. You know what I mean? This is when John was posting this to the YouTube channel, yeah, he 100% glowing eyes before he hit submit. This world is mine. On some Nolan type stuff, it's not yours to conquer. It's mine. When the kings are overthrown, will I fail to rewrite the code, or will I embrace that road alone? 'Cause there's a part of me dying now. Don't you run away from the path that you chose. Resist the sense you put before. Don't you run away, run the past and let go. Can't dismiss the system anymore. Alright, what you giving us right here? Breakdown? Destruction? No way! I always took breeze, get it out of my face. Don't cry when you don't get light from a torrid sky. Your bones will break, and as the storm's teeth are away to break. But when you're running on the border, line outside, the tides wait. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I like that. Right. Johnald was like, you know what, I can come in here. What do you call that? Right. That's one thing I probably have not learned. During the breakdowns, we hear this in a lot of like rock music, heavy metal. You know what I'm saying? That doom, 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 doom. That really, I don't know what it's called. I feel like maybe I knew what it was called, but it's a tone within the guitar that boom, boom, boom. You kind of hear it when he breaks it away from the high and goes straight into the low. I like that little mix right there. You don't even know what you're doing. Da da da, dum 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 dum, da da da. Like we playing seesaw. He playing seesaw with our emotions. No way! I always took breeze, get it out of my face. Don't cry when you don't get light from a torrid sky. Your bones will break, and as the storm's teeth are away to break. But when you're running on the border, line outside, the tides in the rise. We like those. Pump effect. When the kings are overthrown, will I fail to rewrite the code, or will I embrace that road alone? 'Cause there's a part of me dying to know. Don't you run away from the path that you chose. Resist the sense you put before. Don't you run away, run the past and let go. Bodies It's my first reaction of the day, bro. Yeah, I just woke up from a nap too. Came home super tired, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, dang, you know what? I need something to perk me up. You know, get me going. You know what I'm saying? And look, I got my hair all messed up and everything. And John, you did it. You did it. Your breakdowns are just approaching dangerous, illegal amounts of territory right now. And they're almost coming out of nowhere. You know what I mean? You set the tone, right? You already gave us some screams. It was possible that you could have just ended this on a little bit of a sweet note. You know what I'm saying? But I forgot who was dealing with. I forgot who was producing it, and I forgot, you know, the crazy amount of talent that you got, Johnald. So my bad. Kind of took me. I ain't even got no more words. I really don't. Need time process, right? I mean, it's yeah. Let me know what y'all thought about this down in the comments. Dave's out.